I think, in the end. Yeah, that's
Yeah, Jinx made a
understandable.
mistake there, but you could see just how much he was struggling with the dirty air and the holder tires. He was feathering that throttle.
But just as it shows, like, they're now over, they're already out of DRS, and there's no DRS on this first lap, is there? So any time that Luck now gains might be lost again in this Sector 2, Sector 3, as he will not have DRS to help him with the higher downforce.
Indeed. So currently, I think Luck is going to be ruining himself there, just letting John by immediately. Unless his plan here is to just play that DRS game with John, use the DRS to keep in range for the pit stop, and let these two kind of pull ahead of the backpack.
But I am intrigued now because Mavi and Leo are all really close up to the behind of Morgan. Will we see a dive into turn 1 here?
no dive.
No, nothing yet, nothing yet.
Ferrari wanting to play it with the long game, and I think also knowing that if it went wrong, he would lose the position to Leo. It is a very weird position to be in.
It is, as like, if you were luck, if I was Luck here, I wouldn't have started. I wouldn't have taken away from the safety car as early as I did. You know you have the higher downforce. You know you're gonna scrub so much speed compared to John next to you at the end on that down the run on that front straight. You want to use that. You want to give him as little of that slipstream as possible and little chance as possible to get by,
Yeah, I would have
no matter how good of a run.
Yeah, I would have at least waited until you were on the back straight to get that restart started, and Luck's fallen well out of the DRS now. Tire difference is starting to show itself.
And now he has to worry about not just one driver behind him, but 3 of them, all hungry for that possible win. I mean, Morgan's never won. I don't think Morgan's even podiumed, as you said earlier.
Yeah,
Mavi has only won once in Vegas last season, so
he's eager to be
always
back
hungry
on
for
the
more.
Morgan getting right up to that gearbox. She's gonna pull along. Luck forced to go defensive and manages to hold back the Ferrari. But that's Morgan up at the P2 and able to start putting down some lap time to threaten John up in P1.
Exactly, and I want to see if Morgan can start to close that gap as, oh, I think Mavi might have made a mistake as Leo's managed to get by him through Sector 1. Yeah,
Leo's
another
now going to
mistake
be
afterwards as
feasting
well.
on his former teammate. Luck had a bad run out onto the hairpin here. That lets Leo by.
Leo then does have a snap coming out of the hairpin. I don't think it's going to cause any issues, but Luck will now be right behind, but I wouldn't really... He might still fight this. Luck obviously will see that Leo will have to pit again, and so this isn't like... This isn't a fight for a fighting reason. This is still a fight for position. Both these drivers will need to pit again. And Leo will not have DRS, but they do have to both be careful of Mavi, who's going to have a massive run on the back of Luck.
Yeah, here comes Mavi
Around
to
the outside
outside
of 1. Is he going to get past 2? No, he's not, but he's going to get the run on Leo up into the front straight. That lack of that really high downforce setup that Luck had is now ruining him again down there, as Mavi's going to take it round. Just a simple DRS pass round the front straight, up into P3. Now he can chase down Morgan.
And Luck has a time penalty just to add insult to injury for his race coming undone right now. Luck making arguably the wrong decision here at the safety car, but we'll see if the race comes back to him when he pits onto the hard tires. His hard tires will be 6 laps fresher. That is enough to make a difference. John, though, pulling ahead 2 seconds. And there's some caution down in Sector 1 between Avo and Sam right now.
I don't see any damage on either of them, so they should be fine. But
Indeed.
it's,
I can
of
imagine
course.
there's a cursing bird, though.
That I can imagine, but he is ahead of him now though. So, and of course, the two drivers ahead of Avo, Skylar and Jinx, they both have to pit. Avo doesn't. So Avo is still in that pet net P7 right now, and I don't know if Kimaru really can make that mediums last. Be intrigued to see if Leo can as well, but Leo's already dropping off the back of Mavi. I don't think he has DRS. No, he doesn't. Luck does have DRS on Leo, but that won't really do much for him.
Yeah. Oh,
Luck is now.
Skylar had a huge snap as I was following that fight. I apologize. A little too much power out of the final turn. A massive snap across the front straight. I know we talk about, using the whole track, but I don't think that's quite what that means.
Well, sometimes you can take it a little bit too literal.
Indeed.
Mavi though, Mavi is trying to catch up to Morgan, but that gap is stabilizing around 1.3, 1.4, just I say, it goes up to 1.5. The gap isn't becoming undone, and neither is the gap between John and Morgan either, as John is slowly eking out that gap as well.
Yeah, I think John's content to just let the laps tick on by. All these drivers up front settling into a rhythm. Luck gonna be doing his best to try and find a way to at least keep up with Leo and make sure that pit delta to Kimaru behind isn't that bad. Oh,
Although he looks
Luck.
like he might... No, he might try to go for it down into turn 1, but Leo gets a
Leo has
massive
an
snap!
incident! I'm not sure if that was contact or if that was just a rare mistake from our Season 4 champion.
I'm
But
not sure. I
Leo's
want to
gonna
see if there's
have
any damage there. Is he going to repair? Yeah, yeah. No, he's not repairing the wing. There
Looks
was no damage in that.
Luck went
Both
back
of them
onto
pit now.
mediums. Luck's in a two-stop right now. He
I'm not
started on
quite
the
sure on
medium
that one.
tire, and he went onto the medium tire.
I mean, those medium tires lasted him roughly about 10, 11 laps, not counting the safety car. The hard tires should be able to make the rest of the race distance.
Yeah, I guess he just wants to go for the two-stop. He wants to fight. Maybe
Is that
figure...
really going to be the right choice here? Because he's now come out just behind Skylar, who obviously won't be much of an issue to pass due to the... Well, there's a tyre compound and 12 laps of tyres on that Aston Martin, but he's now come out 8 seconds behind Kimaru. He has to overtake Kimaru because they both have to pit.
Indeed.
Kimaru can attempt to make those mediums last. I can't imagine it would work, but he can attempt to make those mediums last. Luck doesn't have that luxury. Luck has to make another pit stop.
Yeah, maybe Luck's just gambling that something will happen up front, figuring with the time penalty that if he just goes with the one stop, he's not gonna win.
It is ballsy, and he has gained a lot of time onto Leo from that, as Leo was stuck behind Skylar. But at this point, it all depends on how much Luck is willing to lose on this, as he's obviously going to go for broke. I mean, he's already gained 2 seconds on Kimaru on that outlap from when he exited the pit. So he is absolutely burning through those tires.
Maybe that is the plan. Burn through the tires as much as you can. Maybe try to get a safety car around lap 20 and then see what you can do, but... I don't know.
Do you see Mavi now, though, in DRS range of Morgan? As I say that, Mavi has a massive snap just before the DRS detection zone, and that gap once again goes back up to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, that cost him about a second of lap time there. So that Ferrari is starting to slide around.
maybe everyone else is going to have to take another pit stop. Maybe these hard tires aren't as durable as once thought.
Yeah, there's still 11 laps to go for our front three. And Morgan's
Morgan drives
pitting.
into the pits.
So
Is she trying to cover off Leo?
maybe, or maybe Morgan's just like, well, and this is a two-stop race with this tire wear.
Kumara then pits from fourth as well. That means that will Luck get by Morgan? I think he will. The question is, will Morgan come out ahead of Leo? It's gonna be close.
Very
She
close.
does. She finishes. She comes out just ahead of Leo, a few seconds down the road from Luck, but with completely clean air. But Leo does have the softer tire behind.
Yeah, we do have to keep in mind that Luck to stop again. So this is net P3 right now. Could even be more if the two up front decide to stop again, but I don't see John stopping again. I can see John just trying to ride these hards out as long as possible. Well, if he stops now, he puts himself still ahead of Luck and Morgan.
I don't think he's ahead of Luck if he stops now. He'll end up behind Luck, but Luck will have that time penalty and of course the other pit stop that he will have to do.
Yeah.
And so Luck will just be time trialing against everyone behind him. Morgan is a few seconds further down the road. Will John pit? No, John will not pit.
Honestly, if I'm John, I think the safest move here is to stop and then just overtake Mavie with the tire offset. Because
that might be the best shout. Or Leo could fight Morgan here, and maybe that's not a fight that neither John nor Mavi really wants to be in. No one wants to be fighting, because you're losing time when you're fighting.
Yeah, I will say I like the call here from Morgan to get onto effectively 9-lap fresher hards, take them to the end, and hopefully use the tire offset to potentially win this race. Depends on how much faster she is going through these laps. Not quite biting into Luck's time right now, but Luck isn't really a factor in here.
No, I have can see Leo struggling a little bit with the dirty air behind. I see him cutting that corner coming out of Sector 1. That is obviously a really difficult complex to do, especially in the dirty air, so... It obviously cuts into the time.
Oh, Morgan
and I think Morgan is now within John's pit stop window.
Yeah, so if John was to safely pit, that opportunity has passed. So at this point,
so now it's all in to, can Morgan make up 17 seconds on John in the 8 laps that are remaining?
Not just that, she has to get past John. And Mavie, whose best move is also to stay out at this point.
Yeah, the top two have now been locked into this one stop. If they pit now, they are effectively dooming themselves to be 3-4.
Indeed.
But Morgan is gaining over a second a lap, which is exactly what she needs to do here.
Indeed, we could have seen something brilliant from Morgan, actually, strategically.
Yeah, she's gaining 2 seconds a lap on both John and Mavi. At this rate, she will catch them both up. She will be catching them both up.
Yeah.
And with Luck having to pit again, and I imagine Luck will pit within 2 or 3 laps himself, so he can make the most out of the soft tyres at the end of the stint, because that is what I imagine he should do.
Indeed. Like, if he hits onto something that's not the softs, I think that is just a mistake.
But Mavi has dived into the pits. He's going to come out behind Leo, but he's going
Yeah.
to come out on fresh medium. I imagine be fresh medium tires. No, it's fresh hards.
Interesting call from the Ferrari team.
Typical
Maybe he
Ferrari
didn't.
strategy right there.
Maybe he just didn't have a fresh set of mediums, which is entirely possible.
That is, but though everyone else I think has had 2 sets of fresh mediums, so
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
now your direct comparison will be John versus Morgan. Will John's tyres hold out long enough? Morgan puts another 2 seconds on John that lap.
Dude, this is a very tense moment now for the Mercedes pit wall. I imagine Leo is going to be filling in about what Morgan's doing as well. Those two in good communication, but might also just be eerily quiet in that room right now. Morgan looking to do well. That's Sam with a 3-second time penalty.
He's got a few of those now, though.
Indeed. It looks like it's going to be Sam in P10. I mean, hey.
It's all down to John. John can no longer pit. John cannot pit from the lead now. His race is now set in stone.
Yeah, if he pits,
Luck pitting now would be everything that Morgan needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see the gap between Mavi and Leo, though, because Mavi should be able to catch up to Leo quite quickly on these fresh hards.
Indeed. I just wonder if Mavi did throw away his chance at P3. Well, no, it would be P3 once Luck pits, but if he manages to get by Leo, he does have to get by Leo, and Leo's like, even on older tires, he's not an easy pass.
He's not, no. Morgan only takes another 1.5 seconds out that lap. It's barely enough. She needs to keep putting in those faster and faster lap times.
Yeah, she is flying, and like, there is gonna be a cliff point for John's tires. We'll have to see where that is, but there is a point where those are going to really fall off in these next 7 laps-ish.
Of course, the gap will come down to just under 12 seconds now. Remember, 5 laps ago, that was 18, 19 seconds.
Indeed.
I think that's Luck coming into the pits. Yeah, that's Luck coming into the pits. Morgan will not have to worry about overtaking Luck. That is clean, fresh 12 seconds of air.
Yeah.
Up until John in the lead.
You could tell from the recharge light going off, she is pushing hard for this. She could smell it in the water. She wants this.
Now just under 12 seconds, 11.5.
Maybe also within DRS of Leo, this is for the podium. See if he's able to get by, though. He does have a lot of laps to do it. Here he goes. He's closing in on a very fast sequence of corners. He will have DRS. He will be able to follow pretty close. And, oh, he might even go for it here, and he gets it done here. Under DRS.
I wonder if Leo does have damage from that tap on the wall, and he's now struggling to get the downforces. As much as this track is a low downforce track, without any turning, it feels awful to drive.
Indeed, it does. Morgan's still eating into that gap, but not quite hammering it down as much as she could right now, but still, it is falling.
It's not falling fast enough now. That was only a second in that last lap. That is not enough. for her to catch up to John. John might be able to hold off here if he can keep those tires within any sort of operating ability.
Yeah, those
But
tires are going to be at their limits come the end of this race. What percentage do you think he's going to be at? Because like the other possibility is that there's a puncture.
I think that at this point is going to be the only thing that can cost John the race here is if those tires puncture. Morgan is no longer catching up to the same amount as she was beforehand. She will not catch up to the back of John in time. John just now has to nurse those tires and pray that they don't puncture.
Yeah. Still, though, in terms of maximizing points, like, Morgan's strategy has done very well.
That undercut has done wonders for her, yeah, but and she was just under 10 seconds, over 3 seconds to Mavi behind, who will be able to close in a little bit, but I don't think will be enough. As those tire offset will not really be enough for either of them to really have to properly fight.
Another second comes down, but it's not quite enough.
They need to drop by over 2 seconds a lap.
Yeah. John just has to cruise at this point. Those tires are probably screaming at him as he goes through.
But his times have been consistent, like 1:34.2 has been the consistent lap time for the past 4-5 laps. Morgan's has just been slowly eking from a 1:32 to a 1:33.
She has to put as much as she can into that. That's maybe with a 3-second time penalty. That gives Leo a little bit of life, but he's not quite able to do something with it. But that does effectively secure P2 for Morgan.
That would do, yeah. So the question is now is how much does Morgan risk it? Does she want to go all out for the win, or will she settle for her first podium? I mean, as a racer, you obviously go for the win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter you're on your podium.
Yeah. Everything in her is currently... Everything in her car's language is screaming, go for the win right now. See that Ferrari behind doing its best to catch up as well. Well, there's Sam with another 3-second time penalty for track limits. Not as many track limit violations as I thought there would be today.
A lot of the lap track limits are a bit nicer just because of how much time you lose going off the track here. But I think Morgan's tires have now reached that cliff. She was 1.5 seconds slower than her PB there and was only barely faster than John. Yeah, just only 1 second faster than John now.
Indeed. And Mavy's gonna get into DRS, so like, if I'm Mavy, I don't risk a pass. Just settle into Morgan's pace. You're not gonna eke out the 3 seconds. Just hope for her to make a mistake. But you don't want to risk crashing and ruining a podium.
Plus, if you do fight too hard, then, well, you risk losing enough time to Leo behind, who could still scoop up that podium if Mavi loses that much time to him.
Indeed. It is a good trio of podium sitters we don't regularly see right now.
Luck will be seeing a move past Leo, though. Although this may just be on track, there's definitely not going to mean anything with the penalties afterwards. It's 3 seconds of penalties for Leo, who I believe will most likely won't fight Luck too hard. I reckon he can probably eke out that gap, but Mavi will make the move on Morgan.
Yeah, Mavi makes a DRS pass. So, Morgan not fighting hard. I agree with that decision, too. Just knows she can...
Oh, there's a contact!
Ooh.
Contact between Leo and Luck. I think Luck tried to go around the outside, and Leo obviously shut the door on him.
Yeah, I know Luck wants to race, but you have to keep in mind you have a 3-second penalty. You're not gonna eke out 3 seconds in 2 laps, even with
You
soft
can't.
tire.
Soft tires and Leo's car is definitely not in the best shape, just as you can tell from the way it's driving. So it is very possible that he could, as Luck will try everything. He's all over the back of that Mercedes.
Gee, this is quite extraordinary racing from these two. Former teammates. I don't think you could tell from the body language of the cars that they were former teammates.
You know, you'd think they were like former enemies or something with how much or how little they're giving each other. But you can see how much Luck closes in under
Ooh.
braking. Leo definitely has some downforce issues there, as Luck will just make an easy pass, and can he eke out 3 seconds in one lap to Leo's obviously damaged Mercedes?
See, we'll have to see. That is Luck's race right now for P4. Leo just needs to hold. The RS is going
He
to
will.
make that hard.
That's difficult for Leo to keep up, but now that the DRS is over, Luck will have so much more extra ability to get away through Sector 1. He has the higher downforce setup to begin with, of course, so he might still hold on to that. Leo is struggling, yeah. That's already 2 seconds.
I even heard the tire screech. Well, prove me wrong, Luck, then. I will admit that. Oh, and 3 seconds for Leo. Not
Basically
what he wanted
seals
to
the
see.
bag there. I wonder if there was any contact between Luck and Leo that might need to be... That contact might have done more damage to Leo's car. That might have to be looked at after the race.
Further
Morgan
up.
is also struggling to keep up. She is 2.2. She just needs to hold on, use every bit of battery left.
Yellow flags in Sector 1 for probably Sam, it looked like.
But John has made those tires last. Made them
John's.
last and last and last, and John will be a race winner in FRL.
John wins in Saudi Arabia. Maybe comes back second on track, but with the time penalty, Morgan takes her first podium for the McLaren team in a strong fashion. Well, as strong as it can be.
Luck will finish P4 after that. The time penalties have been sorted out. I wonder if one of those penalties from Leo was from the side to side. If it is, then it might get rescinded, and that will change the positioning. So, be intrigued to see what happens with that.
Yeah, the time penalty mattered that Leo got here. 2.9. Luck almost did it. Which itself is quite impressive, but... yeah.
Skylar will get the best of the Aston Martins in P7. Avo also opted for that one-stop strategy. Obviously, it helped out Skylar more than it helped out Avo with the reverse strategy. Jinx will come along in 9th.
And then Sam rounding out the grid. We had one DNF today, and it was Troy in the Scuderia. His first regular season race back. Not the cleanest welcome back, but it is Saudi Arabia. It is a very hard track, especially if you're rusty. And
Exactly, it's
there. You were going to say?
What a race from John, though.
Yeah, very good race, very good management. You mentioned he kept it very consistent on the lap times, and that is what he needed to do. Morgan.
He kept those tires within that window. Morgan and Mavi both trying that two-stop to catch back up, but in the end, the one-stop was everything that was needed.
Yeah. I do like the boldness of the call to go for the two-stop here.
The early call for the two-stop won Morgan second place in the end. Mavi couldn't have held on to that one stop. Morgan would have caught up to the back of him, and she would have won that position anyway.
Yeah, very, very good strategy call, I think, from the McLaren there. Pretty good.
And of course, we'll have to have a look at what happened with Leo and Luck, because there was obviously, after the damage, Leo's race was basically over.
Indeed. I believe Mercedes do technically lead the constructors here, mostly by virtue of having two cars that finished in the high points here. Aston Martin get 10, tying them with the V-Carb right now. 1 point for the Alpines, 15 for the Scuderia, 18 for the McLaren. Red Bull on 12. That is your race for today. I believe there is going to be another race next week. You can fill me in on the track.
Yes, that will be at Bahrain, just over the border, really. Well, there isn't really much of a border between them, as Bahrain is an island, but
Border's a border.
either way, it's the same area. It's a completely different style of track. It's maybe not a high downforce as others, but it's definitely a higher downforce than Jeddah was.
Indeed. Classic old race opener for most of the 2010s, too. And for FRL for a little bit. Anyway. What a race. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Take care, and good night.